relax, enjoy. You're in a safe space. So lying on your back, if you've got a bolster, you may want to rest your knees on your bolster as you lie on the back, on your back, and just close down your eyes. And allow your awareness to rest on your breath. Following the breath all the way in and allowing your belly to rise as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, following the breath all the way out. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. As you just take a few moments to settle into your space, to settle into your practice. For the next 55 minutes or so, ladies, this is your time. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. You have arrived. You can just be. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. And we're going to move the breath into a technique called ocean breath. With ocean breath, we breathe in through the nose, part the lips slightly, and do a gentle sigh like the sound of the ocean as we breathe out. Breathing in through the nose. And do a gentle sigh as you breathe out through the mouth. Keep breathing at your own pace, going in through the nose and out through the mouth. And that gentle sigh sounds just like the sound of the ocean when you hold a seashell up to your ear. Breathing in through the nose and a gentle as you breathe out. Continue going at your own pace. Ocean breath is a really beautiful, calming breath. If you feel anxious or overwhelmed during the festive period, this is a really nice practice. It helps to calm your nervous system, and it works on several levels. The parting of the jaw calms the nervous system, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, and that gentle, soft, soothing sound of the ocean as you breathe out soothes your nervous system. Breathing in through the nose and a gentle as you breathe out. Keep breathing at your own pace. Notice a sense of peace and calm, hopefully coming over you with each breath. And if you wish, you can take it even further and allow that exhalation as you sigh out, sounding like the ocean, to be slightly longer than the inhalation. This activates your relaxation response. And that's what tonight is all about. Resting, restoring, relaxing. Perfect practice to do in the evening. Perfect practice to be doing at this time of year. Allow your breathing to return to normal. Just check in with how you feel. Quality of your breath, quality of your body, and the quality of your mind. We're going to do some gentle warm-up poses before we go into the restorative poses. So gently hug your knees into your chest. Place your hands on your knees, and as you breathe in, direct your knees out to the side, pushing them away, and then as you breathe out, bring the knees back into your chest. Knee circles, breathing in, taking the knees wide and away, and breathing out, bringing the knees into the chest. Keep breathing smoothly, uniting the body with the breath, opening up through the hips and the groin and the pelvis. And then we're going to take it in the opposite direction. So push the knees away, take them out to the side, and then draw them back into your chest as you breathe out. Breathing in, pushing the knees away and out to the side, drawing the knees back into your chest. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. Nice, smooth, gentle movements. And then placing both feet on the floor. And if you have a strap to hand or a tie or a scarf, gently place the strap around the ball of the right foot. The left foot remains on the floor. And you're going to come into half happy baby. So the knee stays bent. Keep breathing smoothly. And then start to straighten that leg. Coming into Supta Padangusthasana, starting to activate your hamstring. Really gentle. Just warming up. You don't want to force anything. And then slide that bent leg along the floor. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. And release the foot to the floor. Wrapping the strap around the ball of the other foot. Extending that foot towards the ceiling, keeping the knee bent, coming into half happy baby. Keep coming back to that nice, smooth breath. And then gently extending the leg to the ceiling, starting to slowly awaken your hamstrings, and then slide the other foot along the floor, straightening that leg out. Notice how that intensifies the pose slightly. And then release the foot to the floor. Hug both knees into your chest and gently roll over on to one side, coming up onto all fours. I'm going to just finish the warm up with some gentle cat and cow flows. So as you breathe in, allow the belly to sink towards the mat, gazing up. As you breathe out, curl the chin to the chest, stretching from the crown of the head to the sitting bone. Breathing in, allow the belly to sink towards the mat as you stretch through the front of the body. Cow breath. Breathing out, curling the chin to the chest, sucking the belly up to the spine, stretching from the crown of the head to the sitting bone. Cat breath. Breathing in, allow the belly to sink towards the mat. Breathing out, curling the chin to the chest. Going into cat pose. Breathing in, sit back into child's pose, forehead on the floor, and breathe out. Breathe in, going straight into cat. Breathe out, cow. Breathe out into cat. Breathing in, sitting back into child's pose. And breathe out. Breathing in, cow. Breathe out, cat. Breathe in, child's. And breathe out. Now we're going to do it really fluidly. Breathing in, cow. Breathe out, cat. Sitting back into child's pose, and then breathing in straight into cow. Breathing out into cat. Sitting back into child's pose. Breathe in into cow. Breathe out into cat. And sit into child's pose. Last time, breathing in. Breathe out. And come into child's pose. And then when you're ready, gently walking your hands back up. And we're going to go straight into the restorative poses. We've got 4 or 5 poses. We'll take a good 5 or 10 minutes with each pose by the time we've got them set up. So we're going to start off with shoemaker's pose, supported shoemaker's pose. So you're going to need your bolster or your cushion, and you're going to stack it up at the end furthest away with you. Now you may use a couple of blocks to do that. It depends how high you want that blanket, that bolster to be. I'm using just 1 block here, a yoga cushion, because I'm going to use those blocks to support my legs. Okay, so once you've got that in the position you want, you're then going to grab one of your blankets and roll it up into that sort of shape. And you're going to place it at the bottom of your bolster or your cushion from the sofa. So you're softening that dip. Can you see that's quite a deep dip? So you're softening it with the blanket. You may need to rest your hands because you're going to lie over that with your hands either side. You may need some cushions or some blankets underneath to rest your arms on. So I'm going to just place a couple of blankets there. You may have cushions for that. And like I said, you might need blocks to support your legs. So this is supported Baddha Konasana. You're going to sit with your bottom on the blanket and bring the soles of your feet together. Use the blocks to support behind your thighs. And then you're going to lie over the bolster. Rest your head on the top of the bolster. You may want to place a cushion underneath your head. If you have the yoga eye patch, eye pillow, you may want to place that over your eyes. And then you bring your hands to rest either side, palms facing up. And you just allow your body to melt into all the props. So supported shoemakers or supported butterfly. This helps to really open up through the hips and the groin and the pelvis. Sometimes we have emotions and energy trapped in our hips. So this helps to start that process of getting it all moving. Very often it's stuck or blocked energy that can emerge either during the menopause or in stressful times like Christmas and the holidays, in a burst of frustration or anger or emotion and tears. So we're just allowing that energy to start to move. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. And if you notice your attention wandering, if you notice to-do lists creeping in, just try and become aware of the interruption. And then try and watch that interruption like you would watch clouds floating through the sky on a summer's day. Just let them go. Trust the really important ones are going to come back to you when you need them, and let everything else go. Perhaps you want to bring your awareness back to that gentle ocean breath flowing through your body. And we start to slow down, to pause, take some time to turn inwards. It helps to bring our body, our mind, and our soul back into balance and coherence. It's how it works most effectively. Just surrendering into the pose. Allow your chest to open up, your hips to open up, your breath to flow freely. And should you be interrupted by thoughts, and it's highly likely you are, we often find when we get still and silent that we notice how busy our mind is. Remind yourself you're not doing anything wrong. And just bring your awareness back to your breath. When times are stressful, as current times are, and for many the holidays can be a very difficult time with added stress. If you layer on menopause as well, ladies, or whatever you've got going on, exams, whatever that might be, work pressures, trying to get everything done before you break up for the holidays, it takes you into survival mode, into fight or flight, activating your sympathetic nervous system. It's really important in times like this to do practices like this that are more restorative, so that you can come out of survival and into creation, out of sympathetic into parasympathetic. Activating your rest, restore, heal response, your more creative responses. And take 2 more smooth breaths here. Gently take your blocks away, supporting your thighs. Guide your knees together. Walk the feet to the outside edge of the mat, just allowing your knees to touch, counterposing that wide, deep stretch through the outer hips. And when you're ready, gently roll over onto one side, coming up and off your bolster or your cushion. We're going to come into supported pigeon pose now. So you might want to take whatever was supporting your arms from around the bolster away. You may want to keep that blanket that's rolled up at the end of the bolster, because you might want to use that to support your hips. So pigeon pose. We're going to take the right foot over that blanket and then slide that foot to the end of the bolster, taking the knee off to the outside of the bolster. You might then use the blanket to rest your hip on. You're going to extend the left leg out behind you, and then you're going to place your belly over the bolster and come to rest on one cheek. Close down your eyes, hands either side of the bolster. Supported pigeon. Come back to your breath. Allow your breath to flow freely. So this is a really nice pose because that sort of hugging sensation of the bolster is really calming. This is also opening up through your inner thighs, your outer hips, your lower back. Just allowing energy to flow freely. Really try and melt onto the bolster. Enjoy the opportunity to just stop. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. Keep coming back to your breath. Mindfulness is just about noticing when you have become distracted and bringing yourself back to the present moment, to the here and now, to the only moment that really truly matters. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. Don't be afraid, ladies, to move around. When you hold a pose for a few minutes, you might feel that you actually need to have a little bit of a wriggle around. You might want to reach for a block and place it under that right hip. Just do whatever you need to do to keep comfortable so that you can really relax and release into the poses. Two more smooth breaths on this side. Gently use your hands to come back up onto all fours and swap it over to the other side. So take your left knee to the outside of the bolster, bringing your left foot to the end of the bolster, sliding your right foot out behind you. If you want to use a blanket underneath that left thigh to support it, remembering this is a very different practice to a vinyasa or an ashtanga style of yoga. This is all about really being kind to your body, really gentle, okay? And then allow your belly to rest over the mat, the bolster, and come to rest on the other ear, closing down your eyes, turning inwards, resting your awareness on your breath. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. And just melt into your props. That's what they're there for, to support you. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. Enjoying the pose. Letting go of whatever the day has brought for you today, just release it.
really channeling that lovely sort of wintry vibe of kind of buttoning down the hatches, getting nice and cozy and comfy and just doing what is right for you right here, right now. And the idea of this practice is not just to give you an opportunity to really rest and relax and restore. You'll also get a copy of the recording and you can come back to your favorite poses and pick them up as you need them during the holiday season. If you feel yourself feeling overwhelmed or frazzled or a bit emotional or anxious or even angry, any of those big emotions that can come up, you might decide that one of these poses is the one that you want to just turn to, and you give yourself 5 minutes to just escape and go and rest in the pose. This kind of practice is known as autonomic tuning. When we get more consciously aware of what's going on in our body, when we build that mind-body connection and start to listen to our body when it's giving us little hints as whispers rather than when it's beating us over the head, and we do something to calm our nervous system or our mind or our body. This helps to tune the autonomic nervous system, bring it all back into balance and alignment, which is how it functions most optimally. 2 more smooth breaths here, ladies. And gently bringing yourself out of the pose. Now we're going to come into supported child's pose. So depending on how comfortable you find being on your knees on your mat, you might want to put a blanket on the mat. If you struggle getting your bum on your heels, you might want to roll another blanket up to place between your thighs and your calves. If you have a little cushion or eye mask, you can place that right at the top of the bolster or your cushion. And you can also, if you've got another blanket, I told you you're going to need lots of props tonight, get another blanket. And providing you don't struggle with claustrophobia, you don't struggle with hot flushes, or you have any kind of trauma induced by having your head covered, get the blanket ready and have that sort of close to hand so you can pull it over your head. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. So you know the deal. Coming into child's pose, you take the thighs either side of the bolster, and then you're going to really kind of lean over the bolster so that you are stretching through that lower back, and then either rest one cheek on the bolster, or if you have a little cushion, you can rest your forehead on that. The reason we rest our forehead is because we have an acupressure point at our third eye, and a gentle stimulation of this by resting our forehead on the bolster with a little cushion between it gives us a space for us to still breathe without our nose smashed into the bolster. It also gives that lovely little massage of that acupressure point, which helps to really calm the nervous system, soothing the body and the mind. Supported child's pose. If you feel like you need some support for your arms, place a cushion underneath your forearms. Just try and get as comfy as you can. Keep breathing smoothly. And then if you want to go into the option where you are basically blocking out the world, you pull the blanket all the way over your head, blocking out all the senses. Gets really lovely and cozy in here. and it helps to reduce sensory overload. So if it's all feeling a bit much, drop into supported child's pose, bringing the blanket over your head. And of course, if you are struggling to get your bottom on your heels, you can always place that rolled up blanket between the bum and the heels so that it's nice and comfy and you can really rest in and enjoy it. Turn onto the other cheek if you've been resting on one cheek. If you're resting with your forehead on a cushion or an eye pillow, you just keep in the same position. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. Child's pose, supported child's pose, with the option of having the blanket over your body to close down the senses and reduce sensory overload. Two more smooth breaths here. Gently starting to remove the blanket if you've been using the blanket, rolling up and out of it. You don't want to come out, do you? You get so lovely in there. It's just, oh, delicious. So moving everything out of the way, we're going to come into supported bridge pose now. So take all your blankets and everything out of the way. You're going to place the bolster across the mat. Place your legs, feet flat on the floor and raise your hips to rest on the bolster. And then come down onto your elbows and then onto your back. So just have a rummage around with the bolster so that it feels nice and comfortable and you feel really supported. Place your hands either side of the bolster, or if you prefer, you can rest your hands on the bolster. I prefer them either side. Close down your eyes. Feet flat on the floor. Try not to allow the legs to sort of flop out to the side. Reconnect with your breath. Following the breath all the way in and all the way out. Keep breathing nice and smoothly as we continue to calm the nervous system. Resting, reviving, relaxing and restoring our mind, body and soul. supported bridge opens up all the way through the front of your body. So if you've got that energy moving around your hips, releasing any energy, supported bridge then just allows it to flow freely through your torso. You can make a decision, a conscious decision or an intention to let go of anything that no longer serves you as you rest in this pose. And again, if you notice yourself getting distracted, don't beat yourself up, don't criticize or judge, just kindly bring your awareness back to your breath. And every time you do that, you're practicing a moment of mindfulness. I'm going to take 2 more smooth breaths here, guys. Gently slide the bolster away from you. And hug your knees into your chest, gently counterposing the slight back bend from supported bridge. You can gently rock from side to side, massaging your spine on the floor, circling the knees in one direction as you massage your lower back, and back in the other direction. And gently rolling over onto one side. We're going to come into legs up the wall. So I'd like to invite you to place a blanket on your mat. So roll a blanket all the way out, flat on your mat. This makes it a bit cozier for you lying on the floor, but we're also going to bring the corners of the blanket and wrap it around our head and shoulders and get really, really snuggly. And then if, for example, you're leaning against a radiator like I am, or you're leaning against a cold wall, you might want to have a blanket to hand and you're going to rest the blanket on the top of your feet, or in my case, I'm just folding it down behind the radiator. Just means if you've got a really cold wall or a really cold radiator, it's a bit warmer and a bit nicer. Equally, if it's a really hot radiator, you don't want to burn your legs. So legs up the wall. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You're going to take your bottom as close to the wall, the door, the radiator, whatever it is that you're using. You can also place your legs up the sofa. So your legs are going to come up and bend and the lower leg will rest on the top of the sofa. Whatever feels right for you. It's a beautiful thing about restorative yoga is that you just do it to feel what feels good. Okay, you don't have to worry quite so much about the alignment and the foundation. You just want to get really nice and cozy. So once you've got your legs up the wall, grab hold of the corners of your blanket. Bring those corners right into your shoulders. Again, don't do this if you are claustrophobic or you struggle with feeling too hot, hot flushes, or if you have any kind of, if it's going to trigger any kind of trauma. You bring that blanket nice and cozy and all the way in, all the way around you. Now, if you want to, you can even bring the blanket over your eyes and really close down all those senses. Again, reducing that sensory overload, really just getting nice and cozy and snuggly. And again, just allowing your breath to flow freely in and out without trying to control it. Try and balance the inhalation and the exhalation. Allow the breath to flow freely in and out of your body. Breathing all the way down into your belly. Belly breathing or abdominal breathing is another beautiful way to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest response. If you ever see sleeping babies or sleeping animals, you'll see them, they breathe beautifully in and out through their belly. Belly breathing sends a very powerful message to your brain. When we're stressed and in fight or flight, we tend to breathe shallowly. Our body is getting prepared to run away or fight a predator. Breathing in and out of our belly sends a powerful message up the brainstem, telling the mind that everything is okay. So the lovely thing about this technique is you don't necessarily have to have solved what's triggered you. Just slowing the breath down will start to calm your nervous system. Having the legs up the wall and reversing the flow of gravity means that the blood that normally has to work really hard going back up your legs to your heart is actually flowing really easily and freely back to your heart. And this calms the heart rate. Reversing the flow of gravity is also really good for many of the other systems in our body. Not only does it challenge the circulatory system in the completely opposite way to the way it's used to being challenged, it calms your nervous system, it calms your hormone system, encourages your lymph system to drain more effectively. Spending a few minutes every day in an inversion with your feet above your heart or your head below your heart is really good for you. And this particular pose, legs up the wall, in yoga known as Viparata Karini, is brilliant it's a brilliant pose to do just before you go to bed. Really soothing for the nervous system. We're going to take 2 more smooth breaths here. And then bend your knees, place your feet against the wall, and just rest there for a couple of breaths of transition. And then when you're ready, gently rolling over to your favorite side. Take a couple of breaths of transition. And then we're going to come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So I'd like to invite you to place your blanket back on the floor, underneath or on top of your mat, so that you can have it resting beneath you.
that extra layer of blanket really nice, gets it nice and cozy, and it's really nice to be warm and cozy for Shavasana. Then get another blanket to place on top of you. You're going to take your feet slightly wider than hip distance. You're going to bring your hands to rest either side of your hips. You're going to close down your eyes. Allow your breathing to return to normal. If you've got a yoga eye bag or a pillow, you can place that over your eyes. Another nice thing that you can do is grab the corners of your blanket, and just like we did for Viparata Karini, you can bring those corners right into your shoulders and your neck, getting nice and cozy, wrapping the blanket around your head. You can even allow the blanket to cover your eyes if you wish. Just getting really, really nice and snuggly and comfortable into Shavasana. You can push that blanket right into the neck so it feels really cozy. Allow your hands to rest underneath the blanket. And just resting here. Bringing your awareness to the crown of your head. Softening your forehead. Releasing the space between your eyes and around your eyes. Relaxing your mouth, tongue, and jaw. Softening your throat and neck. Releasing your shoulders and relaxing your arms and hands. Softening through your chest and your upper back. Your ribs and your torso. Your tummy and your lower back. Releasing your hips, pelvis, and buttocks. Relaxing all the way down your legs, through your thighs and your hamstrings. Through your kneecaps, your shins and your calves. Relaxing the top of your feet, soles of your feet, and your toes. Rest here in stillness and in silence as you allow your body to absorb the benefits of your practice tonight.
Sadly, ladies, that's all we have time for tonight. Don't feel you have to move from Shavasana. If you want to take longer in Shavasana, then just ignore the next prompts. And when you're ready, you know the deal, you know how to do it. You gently wiggle your fingers and toes. But if you are ready to transition into the rest of your evening, bring a little bit of movement to your fingers and toes. And if you'd like to stretch, take your arms along the floor, stretching your hands in the opposite direction to your feet. And when you're ready, roll over onto your favorite side, taking a couple of breaths of transition. And don't forget, if you are not ready to transition, stay where you are, just ignore me. If you all stay where you are, I will gently just close the recording down and leave you to it. Rest assured that the recording will be sent out later on in the week on Wednesday or so, Wednesday or Thursday. Gently use your hands to guide you if you are transitioning out, remembering that your mind and brain is really calm, your nervous system is soothed, and your body is really relaxed. So you want to move gently and slowly, bringing your hands to heart center. Ladies, may you take the benefits of your yoga practice with you into your holiday time. May you flow through the festivities with grace and ease. May you have a wonderful, relaxing and restorative evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.